Okay, so sorry about that. I had to take a call. So continuing right where we started, we're still on the calendar here. Um, so basically red is bad. That means you've overbooked. Green is good. It means you can book that many. So you can just look on any date. April 15th at for chairs, you have 27 chairs to rent out. And then you can look down here and see if there's things that are more there. So like if down jackets though, with the numbers that I put in on April 15th, you have no other ones to rent. So you couldn't rent any large down jackets until April 19th. So April 19th, there'd be 3 available. And that's just how this works, basically. And you can do that. Now, there's a cool little feature here, though, that is an option, too. So you can go back to the order details and check the items as they go. So say you wanted to do let's just say trekking poles. If you wanted to rent out trekking poles on, let's just say April 20th, you could write in 420, right? And then you wanted to return them, so let's just say they'd be out for a week on 427. And it says right there that 5 would be available. You know what I mean? Now say it was 427, that's for 7 days, but for 6 days, all of a sudden 15 could be rented out. So this matters for you because you'll have the ability to actually look up your inventory and not have to figure out the numbers. So again, like if they're like, hey, we'll rent them for, like say it was a 7-day tour, you would only have, so again, going back to this, so say it had to leave on April 20th, and say it was like a 7-day tour. So if it was 7 days, all of a sudden you only have 5 available. But if it was a 6-day one, you would have 15 available. So that's how that works. And then you can check other things. So let's just say these are their dates. So they literally are standing there in front of you and they say, hey, we're going to rent out on 420 and we'll be back 6 days later on 426. You could literally just go through any item here and say you have 18 2-person tents, you have 11 4-person tents. Say chairs, you have 30. Tables, you have 14. You just can go right through. Headlamps, you have 26 available. And just anything. Extra large jackets, you only have 3. Medium jackets, you have 3. And just keep going. Pulse boxes, you have 7. So you can literally just see your quantity. So this could be useful too in the sense of that day. So you could just look at this before you go into this, because this actually would have shown you that these errors were going to come up. So now when you know this, anytime you book something, go to the calendar and I would look at it. If you see red, you know that we went over by small jackets, medium jackets, gaiters, trekking poles, chairs, sleeping bags, and portable toilets. We totally went over with that. So that's how you would have to look at this. So like to go back and correct it, you would pretty much go back to your items and change the numbers. So for instance, let's just say that the portable toilets, we said we were going to rent them 1. Well, now let's just change it to a 0. We can't rent them. We can't rent them either. And then you'll see if you go back, you could delete it totally or just put 0 in. It doesn't matter. And then go to the back here, back to your calendar, and all of a sudden the portable toilets have corrected themselves. Look at that. See how they're gone now? Look at it's not red anymore. So let's just go the same way with something else. Let's say trekking poles. So there's 1, so we can fix that problem. You go over to order details, find trekking poles. There they are. So we said 6. Let's change it to 5 and go back to your calendar. And now it's gone. Now it's even. So now we didn't overbook it because you can only rent what we have, of course. So that's kind of cool too. Now the other advantage of this calendar is if you upload it and save it to the OneDrive, to the cloud. So when you have internet, whether in your shop or even in your house, whatever. I mean, even in a cafe, you could do it anywhere. But I think that we probably should get internet in our shop. I think it's a good idea so that you can save it more often to protect it. The advantage of it is actually that I will be able to see which gear you're running short of. So if I see that, let's just say we keep running out of gaiters and ponchos, which are lighter items, I could actually order them, get them to my house within 2 days, and then I could ship them by air so that they would come out to Tanzania much, 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 much faster. Now, granted, to ship them by air is expensive, but they're lighter items. Shipping tents by air is heavy, but shipping, like, say, ponchos, gaiters, even sleeping bags could be more affordable. So I could actually try to fix a problem quickly for you before it becomes an issue, in essence. So you can go through like this. Now, that's the invoice there. So this is the calendar here. So like, let's just say, let's go through these. So we knew let's fix the problem too, because this will be good practice. So we can see the small and medium down jackets and the gaiters need to go down. So let's get rid of a few. So the small and medium down jackets need to go down 1, I think each to go down. And the gaiters needed to go down totally to 2. And then go back to your calendar. There's no more red. Cool, let's fix the other ones. Sleeping bags and pads we're over by 3, -3. Go back to your order. So sleeping bags and pads, we rented 6 of them, of each, and now we know that we can only rent them 3. Go to the calendar, boom, we fixed the problem. So green and white is good, red is bad. So now we fixed the problem, there's no issue. So that's it. Now in terms of what you would do with the customer at that point, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'd have to redirect them to another person to rent them, or figure something out. I'm not really quite sure at that point. That would definitely be one of those things where if this kind of thing starts to happen a lot, we know that we're doing well, and B, we need more gear. So the faster I know that we need more gear, the better off we are, because I can get it out to you. And as you know, it takes forever to get the gear to you. So the sooner I know, the better. So this is the calendar, okay? Now this is the coolest thing about this. So back to your actual order. Now this was the order for order number 10, right? So all the gear is on here, and this is what they needed it for. So the rent out date, the return date, everything's on there. It's all automatically on there. So the next thing is this, and this is very important. So this is kind of cool. We can literally just produce an invoice. So order number 10, so this is on this page, you don't touch anything at all, literally nothing. The only thing you touch is right here, this red one. So you just change the order number, change it to 10, boom, there you are. Justin Tarange Masai, there's your phone number, your email. If we put your address in, it would have been there. Invoice number 10 and order number 10. Our invoices and orders are the same. And our company's there. We even have our letterhead here with our logo. And then all of the items that we rent it are right here. So the unit prices, the discount, which we didn't give them any, but you can, I'll show you how. The net price is the total, the duration of the rental, the quantity, and the amount. So even if you kept it on here, it comes up as a 0. So you can see, so if someone's like, hey, we didn't rent toilet tents and portable toilets, instead of deleting the line, it's still okay because quantity is 0 and the dollars is 0. So you'll see that when they return it, that there's 0. So that's okay if it's on there. I mean, it's better if it's not, but it's okay if it's there. So then you go here. I put it as an 18% VAT tax because I think that's the rate, but if it's different, tell me, and you can change it to 18 to whatever you want it to be. Also, whatever the TIA is, you change it as you like, Justin, it's your business. So this is the subtotal, the taxes. There are no other charges. This is the total before discount, which would be these with a discount, but so don't worry about this number here. And this is the total order amount. So this is the amount of money that you would need to collect from them to rent our gear. And I know that it's in cash, not credit, so we're going to just do cash only. And then over here, this is the deposit amount. So they need to pay this plus this. So literally, you can just whip out your little calculator here. Now the reason I don't have these combined in the same thing is because if this number comes up as these combined, you'll have to change your accounting invoices, because if you ever get audited, they're going to think that this was income, and then we would need to do a refund. So instead of doing that, we're just going to put it here. So it'll just be like this. So this is our actual money that we've made, and then this is just a deposit. So you can literally just sit there and write 119978 plus 59989. So this is the amount of money that you would need to collect in US dollars, of course, from the client. And then when they come back with it, they're going to pay you this amount right here, $599.89 in US dollars. If you want them to pay in Tanzanian shillings, you can figure out the math of that too, no problem. So these are the numbers. And literally, all you have to do is press Control P, and boom, you can print out this page right here. There it is. So we'll talk about getting a printer and doing all that kind of stuff. We definitely are going to need one. And then you have this. My suggestion would be you print out this invoice, right? So the first thing that I would do is you can actually, I don't know, you probably know how to do this. If you write print to PDF like this, basically when you go to print it, it should Save it, yeah. So now you can save it. So go to, you can make a file for it. Let's just say in like somewhere or whatever, documents, and then write sample invoice, save it. And then you can save this specific invoice. So once you're on that page, you can save the invoice and do that. Now, the reason I say to save it is because you want to have the invoice. The other thing too is if someone goes back in the future and changes the unit price in the calculator, it'll change it for all of these invoices. Now, we don't want to do that because let's say we raise our prices. If for tax reasons here we're renting this two-person tent for $9, right? $9 a day. If it's going to go up to $10 a day, let's say halfway through our season, it will change, the calculator's automatically going to change all of our invoices to say that from the past, which is a problem. We don't want to do that because we'd be paying taxes on money that we didn't make. So we don't want to do that. It's very important that you don't. So instead, you can save these invoices, and these are what you would add up at the end of the year, or document them somewhere else on another Excel sheet to do that, basically. So these are going to be very important. The other thing that's important about it is you probably have to print one because the customer is going to want one. So when the customer comes back in, they literally have this, and you can see on here, on the actual invoice, how many items they're supposed to return with, and on what date. So right here, so they rented them out on May 28th, and they came back on May 4th. And if they came back May 5th, you'd have to give them less of their deposit out. You'd have to figure out the amount of money that we should be keeping, basically. And if all the gear comes back on time and in good shape, so I actually wrote that right here. This is basically like a little bit of an agreement, like a little contract. And then this is the amount of money that we'll give back to them. And that's pretty much the deal. So, and that's all right on there. So all of these things are right here. The other thing too is there's a report here. The report is in essence going to show you details and stuff. So this is details of, like, you can go through and we can see, for instance, our products which were performing the best, the top 10 and the bottom 10, and we can go by rental duration or by revenue. So with the made up numbers that I put in as a category, sleeping gear made the most money, 29%, and the least, well, you can go least actually, so bottom 10, there was no footwear because obviously we didn't have anything, and I put this empty column. I'll have to delete that, but basically you can just look right through. The other thing too is, like, say top 10 performers right here, sleeping bags and sleeping pads, chairs, two-person tents. Now you can go by revenue, or we can look at it by rental duration, meaning how many days they were rented. So we can look at it in both ways. Same too over here, you can go through and we can see our customers and see who the best customers are. So like there you are, Justin. With your order, you made this much. Rafiki, Timon and Pumbaa, Scar, and Simba made more than you. They were better customers for us than you were. So you can see that right there. And then you can literally check the customers. So I could go to you, Justin, boom, and then here you are. So we've made this much money off of you. You rented in terms of units per day. This is the amount. You rented 37 items, basically, for that many days. And this is the amount of revenue, then tax, and all those kind of things. So we can say, we can do discounts and whatever too. But this is more just, none of this stuff you actually type in. This is the date range though. So if you want to change the date range, so this is from April 7th to July 10th, you can change it and add to it so that it's wider, and change it as you go. So this is, like I said, so looking down here on these, under calendar, you don't change anything. Invoice, you don't change anything except for this right here. And report, you change nothing. These are all automatically there. Now expenses, this one you're not going to need, I don't think, so don't worry about this. And then this is actually an interesting one. So this is to add or retire an asset. So let's just say one of our tents fell apart. We can't rent it anymore. It's useless. But you don't want to change, what you don't want to do is this. Go to two-person tents and then change it to 23. No, you don't want to do that because it's going to change the calendar permanently from here onwards. So it'll always show that. So then it'll look like it was red even though it didn't need to be. Instead, what we would do is, so the asset is a two-person tent, right? That's asset number 1. And if I wanted to do gaiters, that's number 14. So let's just say that of our two-person tents, right, we want to retire one. So you can either add one or retire one. So it's asset number 1, and let's just say on 5/2, you want it to retire 110 because it's broken. And then say, also, let's go back to our assets, a gator. Let's say someone didn't return a gator, like they came back with one of the less gators. So you could do that too. So you could say, that's number, what was that, 14? 14. Yep. So asset 14. And let's say they came back May 2nd as well. And we're going to retire 1 gator. So then when you go to the actual calendar here, the numbers will be lower. So the 2-person 10 on the, what was our date? So we retired the asset on May 2nd. So you can see here on May 2nd, oops, sorry, looking around, May 2nd, right here, you go down, and then this should drop. So 2-person 10 should drop basically on that day. So it did. So it's 20, went down 1, and then if you go over here to gators, gators went down 1 on there too, so 10 to 9. See? Like that. And that's kind of how that works, and then it gives us like a rolling order. Same thing too, I'll give you another example. Let's just say you tell me that, let's look at our thing right here. So let's say you're running out of gators. See, they're low here, right? Now let's say on gators are 14, and let's just say on May 4th, I sent you another 10 gators. So we're going to add 10 gators. And then if you go to your calendar, look at the gators, and then suddenly on May, what was our date? It was going to be May 4th. Go back to your calendar, so May 4th, scroll down, and you can see right here, look, there are 9, and now there's 19, 21, 21, 21. So this is constantly changing because of rentals, but at the same time, it permanently raises that rate. So then as this goes forward, which again, I'll show you how to do that. We're going to go here. Let's just say instead, let's go from the 15th of April. So that brings the whole calendar out. You can see how many more gators we have. So it was 9, now we have 21. So it looks much better, you know? So now we can rent out more. So that's kind of how that works. Other things for you to know, these are the unit discounts. So let's just say with the same guy, we really like Justin, he's a good customer, and we want to give him $1 off of our tents. So let's just say $1 off of this tent, and this tent. Those are our 3 tents, and that's it. If you go to the invoice, you'll see that. So these are the actual numbers. So there's a discount at this point. So we gave him a discount. You can go to the invoice. So here it is for number 10, and it'll show right up. So he's like, where's my discount? There's the unit price is 9 with a discount of 1. The net price is now 8, and that number is what's figured out, and it brings down the number. So you can see this is a lower number than it was before. So this pretty much gives you most of the details that you would need to do. You can then delete these if you don't want them. You can change them to whatever you want, basically. Like you could say, hey, he's a great customer, let me just give him, so you don't want to change the unit prices, because you see how in the unit prices, when you click on it, it comes up like this equation. You never want to change the equation, so don't change the unit price. Give them a discount, okay? Whatever you do, don't change the unit price, give them a discount. So let's just say it's a good customer, and this is a pulse ox right here is $5 a day. Because it's a good customer, we're like, hey, we'll give it to you for free. Give him a $5 discount. And then you will see, when you go over to the invoice, the expectation here is that he comes back with the pulse ox. Here it is, it's $5 with a $5 unit discount. The net price is now $0 a day. So running it for 7 days, he's still expected to come back with 1, but it costs $0. So you can see that that's the discount. And that's all in there too. So you can change that too. And you can change it to whatever you want. You could say, hey, I'll give you a $3 a day discount. You have control over this, but don't change the unit prices. Just change the discount, okay? And that's pretty much it. And you can do pretty much whatever you want off of that, and then go from there. So, and like I said, the main thing too, I think that's probably the most challenging thing with this is this. Once you're on the order page, again, you want to always make sure there's always going to be one on here Now you can have them all on here. It's just going to show everything, and there's too many, you know what I mean? So that'll be a little annoying for you. So like keep one order on there at all times, basically. You can even just keep your last one. That's what I would do. And you've got the 10 there. So let's just say if you wanted to create another order, you would just do like 11. And see, the value doesn't match. The reason it did that is because there is no order number 11. And the reason there's no order number 11 is because we didn't put one in. So let's just say that, I don't know, let's say Timon and Pumbaa are coming back, and they're going to be order number 11. So it's not a new customer, but let's say they're going to come in on 4/29, and then I could put them in, Timon and Pumbaa. They booked with us. It's a daily rate. They're coming in on the 29th. They'll be back on the, say, the 6th. It's an 18% tax. Invoice number is automatically created. It's a green column. We don't change it. Never change the green. See, they pop up automatically. And the payment due date will be 4/29. No other charges or discounts. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention. So this is the paid amount. So right here, total order amount, the paid amount. So you don't ever change these numbers. If you want to give someone a discount, you do it how I just showed you to. You do not change these numbers because it'll screw with the whole thing. But under here, this is the amount that they pay. The amount that they pay, though, does not include the deposit. Don't put the deposit in, okay? Now you could if you wanted to, because if you go over, in truth, if they rate you $2,000, it just says overpaid. So that's okay. But in reality, let's just say that Justin came in and he rented all those gears. That was that last invoice. So you can see right here. Here's the invoice, is invoice 10. And then it was for $1,199.78. If you go over to the order details, sorry, the order headers here, that's the amount that he paid. So once we did that, now let's say he said, I'll give you $1,000 now. When I come back, I'll give you the rest. The amount paid, put it as $1,000. And you know when he comes back, he owes us $199.78. So you can change all these numbers as you like and run the numbers as you choose. But once it's a paid in full balance, it'll come, the amount due is 0, okay? So back to our new customer here, we have Timon and Pumbaa coming back, and they're order number 11. Now let's just say, you now know how to do it. Let's just say it's a simple little order. So it's 11. It's good. Now it'll add it, right? Now let's get rid of, scroll down, and let's, on the little icon there, sorry, let me do that one more time. There's this icon, press it again, deselect them all, and just press order 11. And there it is. So now it's just 11. And let's just say this is a simple order. We'll keep it simple. There you go. So assets, let's just say the only thing they needed were tents and chairs and tables. And a dinner table too. A dinner tent. This is it. So they're a simple customer. They want a 1-2-person tent. There's just 2 customers. And we do this. So boom. They need 1 tent for the 2 people, 2 chairs, 1 table, and a 4-person dinner tent for dinner. Boom. That's it. That's all they wanted. Super simple order. So boom. There you go. So this is all filled out. Now all you do, you go to your calendar. You can see what's rented and what's there. I'm not seeing any red, which is good. So go to your invoice. They were number 11. Boom. And there they are. Here's exactly what we just put in. One 2-person tent, 2 chairs, 1 table, 1 4-person tent for dinner. And that's the amount, $304.44. This is the deposit. This is when they rented it out and when they'll return. And you can print this, Control P, boom, and there you go. Print that out for them. I would save a document, and then I would save one to the computer, and then you can upload it to the cloud, which I can show you how to do later. And you can print one for them. So when they come back, we know that if they come back with all of the gear on time, we will give them back $152.22 as their deposit. And then that's all in there. And that pretty much sums it up. It's pretty simple. In the beginning, you'll have to put in more customers because they obviously will be our first customers. But as you keep getting repeat customers, you do not have to put them in repeatedly anymore. So again, if you were to come back, so even though Justin's there, 9, if I were to make a new order with you, so say like Justin's back again, I could just make a new order with you, Justin, boom, and then you're right there. All your information's in there, okay? And then let's just say, here's a good example too. Oh, I didn't need that. Delete. So you pick the whole column here, not just this number, this, and then press delete, and then it's gone. And that's pretty much the thing. I wouldn't mess around too much with all of these, because the only time I want you to click on these is for the order details. This is the only time. Now, if you want to look back too, you can. So let's just say you're like, hey, let's check order 7 is coming back today. And there it is. They need to be coming back with 1 regular tent, 2 chairs and tables, and 2 chairs and 1 table. And that's what they're coming back with. And say it was order number 8 is coming back tomorrow. You could just click it, and there's order number 8. And say order number 9 is coming back the next day. So say it's 8 and 9, so just 9. Boom. And there you go. They need to come back with a lot of gear. All this stuff has to come back. 10 sleeping bags, 10 sleeping pads, 10 trekking poles, 2 pole socks. So this is a big order. And then you can go like that. And I think that's pretty much it, Justin. I think we've got a pretty good idea of it. This will print your invoices and stuff, and I think this will do enough to get you started. And the nice thing about this is it'll work whether or not there's internet, or even if you lose power, you can still work from your laptop. I'm also going to provide you with a downtime form. A downtime form would basically be like a blank invoice where you can write down what people rent out, and we can submit it later into the computer system so that we have it, just in case there's no internet and no power, and the laptops ran out of power, let's just say. You can then just write down the paper, we'll write it down, do our money, and then once the power comes back up, we'll put it in there, and then we can upload it to the cloud and have it saved with an invoice. And I think that's the best thing. So tell me what you think, Justin. I'm going to post this video on YouTube so you can just watch the whole thing, and we'll go from there. Okay?